Hi, my name is Peter Jank, and this is my game Amethyst. This is a jewel crafting game for 2 to 4 players in which each player will be playing miner merchants, and on their turns they're going to be mining gems, using those gems to build weapons, and then using those weapons to slay monsters. Of course, along the way they're going to be recruiting new citizens that will help them in their journey. So let's take a look closer to the table and we will find out how all these actions work. Alright, so before we go over the actions, let's talk about setup. Each player is going to get their own player mat, and they're going to start off with a color gem of the matching action board they have. They'll also start off with 2 gold. Next, we'll have the bank itself, in which you will have 1 gem of each color in the appropriate area. And then you're going to leave some gold here on the side. Any extra gems that are still left over will be placed right here into the mining bag. The next thing you want to do is we're going to flip over 5 item cards or weapon cards or armor cards, and then we're going to have 5 citizen cards, and then lastly we're going to have 5 monster cards. Now on the back, what you want to make sure is you have 1 boss, which the dragon signifies right here, and then 4 minion cards. And again, we're going to flip them over face up, leaving the boss monster in the far right corner of the board. Now let's go over player actions. Alright, so the first action a player can take is the mine action. What you do is you simply reach into the mine bag and you're going to be pulling out 3 gems. You'll place your gems onto the mat, onto your inventory spaces. You have a total of 8 spaces. If you ever reach into the bag and you do not have enough room, then you will have to choose which ones to keep and which ones to get rid of. Right now we are good with only those 4. Other options that you could choose when you reach into the bag might be a black coal gem or purple amethyst. When you pull a coal gem out, you'll immediately put that back into the bag. So for an example, if I pulled out these 3 gems, this one would go back into the bag while the other 2 would be in the inventory right here. If I place if I grab or mine a amethyst, the amethyst would go here in the top right corner instead of the inventory. This does not clog up your inventory, but the amethyst will give you additional bonus points at the end of the game. A couple other options you might find are diamonds, which count as any 1 color gem, and then also the rare stone gem, which there's only 1 of in the bag. I'll explain this one more a little bit later. Alright, the next action we're going to talk about is the build action. In order to build, we're going to be taking a look at the item row that's above the bank itself. There's a few different things you want to take a look at here in the items. That being of course, the gems you're going to need to actually spend. The item icon, basically, this one's a weapon, and this one is a shield. For a closer look, we can take a look here. We've got a weapon and a shield icon there. At the bottom right-hand side of each one of these cards is a victory point value that you will total up at the end of the game. There are red cards, there are blue cards, there are green cards, and then a couple other cards I'll talk about here in a second. But the first thing we're going to do is take a look at this card right here. This card is a blue card, and it's going to take 2 yellow gems to actually buy. And then we'll also take a look at this red card. This one here is going to take a blue and a green. So let's go for this one here. We're going to spend a blue and a green gem. We have that here in our inventory. And when you're going to basically build one of these cards, you're going to place any color gem into the bank, and then the other color of your choice will go into the bag itself, the mining bag with the rest of the gems. You will take this item card that you have just built and place it in front of you face up so the entire table can see. When you do that, you're going to then flip over the next card and then take a look closely, because here at the bottom left-hand side of the actual card is a monster attacks symbol. So you can see there in the teeth, in the center of the teeth, is a green gem. A emerald to be exact. When you see a monster attack symbol, you're going to basically take all of these gems that match that symbol and throw them into the bag. It's as if the monster attacked the town itself. And hopefully that makes sense. Now, we're going to reveal a couple other cards here. Say we've got this yellow card here. Well, now this yellow card, of course, has 2 weapon symbols up there on the top left-hand side of the card. That's pretty great, but it will cost an additional gem to actually build this. Now in the bottom right, this is worth a total of 5 victory points at the end of the game, which is great to have. The other card that you might run into right here is the Cursed card. Now, the Cursed cards, there's only 4 of these in the entire deck, but it will cost 1 of the diamonds, which I'll explain diamonds really quickly here in a second, but it will cost a diamond to build this card. But when you build it, you give it to another player at the table, and as you can notice in the bottom right-hand corner, it's actually worth -4 points. But thankfully, right here on the top, they can use it as either swords or shields, so basically you want to use that wisely. All right, so diamonds. If I wanted to buy one of these cards, we'll take this shadow one, for example. I can use my 2 topaz if I'd like, or I could do a mixture of a diamond and a topaz. Diamonds are wild. These are great to actually have. You're going to always throw the color gem into the bag. The diamond always into the bag, and then place the color gem into the bank. I could, instead of using a topaz and a diamond, I can use both my diamonds, in which both diamonds will have to go into the bag itself. Nothing would then go into the bank. Hopefully there's no other questions about building, but that is the build action. All right, so now we're going to talk about the trade action. Trade action is pretty simple. You're going to be following the chart here down on the bottom of the bank board itself. As it indicates right here, I can sell any one of my gems, and it doesn't have to be the ruby. It could be any color gem for 2 different color gems from the bank. So for example, I can get rid of this topaz and grab an emerald and a sapphire. This removes the randomness of the bag, but it does give you 1 less gem for you to actually utilize. Another option that I could do is I can take one of my gems, again, does not have to be the sapphire, but it could be any color gem, and I can sell it for 3 gold. And I'd be placing the gold right here in my, on my player board. The last thing I can do is sell a diamond. If I sell a diamond, this does not go into the bag, it does not go into the bank, it's actually removed entirely out of the game, and I would get 5 gold for doing so. And that is the trade action. All right, our next action is the recruit action. The recruit action is very simple as well, in which you're going to be using your gold that you have been gaining throughout the game to buy different citizens here in the citizen row. Each citizen will have a gold cost, and basically that gold cost is going to be what you're going to be spending. Each citizen is very different, and every single citizen in the game is completely unique. So this one right here will give you 2 points at the end of the game. That's a fairly simple one. This jeweler here is going to give you a total of 3 victory points for every diamond you still have at the end of the game. So you can kind of build an engine of victory point cards just with the citizens themselves. This rogue has a win recruited action, so that's another thing you want to take a look at when you're recruiting different citizens, because some of them will actually activate right away when you buy them. This miner has a simple, basically, additional thing you could do. So when you actually recruit this miner, what's going to end up happening is instead of drawing 3 gems or mining 3 gems, you'll be mining 4 gems, which is actually pretty great. And the last kind of citizen you can get is a citizen in which you do an action which will allow you to trigger another action. So for example, this merchant, when you mine, you can then trade. Now this actually can build a crazy engine, because if you have a similar other card, you can actually mine, then trade, and then another citizen might have, if you trade, you can then recruit, which means you could do 3 different actions right there in 1 turn, which why these citizens cost a little bit more, but they're really great in building that engine in which you can do many more things on your 1 turn. And that there is the recruit action. And our very last action is the slay action. To slay, you're going to choose the monster you would like to slay, and then you're going to spend the appropriate amount of cards based on what icons they need in order to slay them, of course. So for this vampire, it's going to take you 2 swords and 2 shields. And you can see that here on the card itself, 2 swords and 2 shields. At the end of the game, you will get points per monster that you kill. This specific one will give you 5 points, of course. And here, we'll have our items laid out. We have 2 shields and 2 swords. That's perfect. We can actually use these 4 to slay this vampire. When you do so, not only will you get the points at the end of the game, but for every card used to slay this monster, you will get 1 gold. So for this example, we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 gold, and then we're going to take our stack that we used and leave it face down. This will come in handy later, and I'll explain endgame scoring, but you don't want the table to know any longer what you've used. This is still open information for yourself, of course, but it is closed information for the rest of the table. Now, this does not get refilled. This is basically the end of the game. Once all of the monsters here have been defeated, everybody else will take one more turn until everybody here has had equal turns, and then the game will end and score will be taken. A couple things I want to talk about really quickly with these monsters is, obviously we just went through the vampire, but this skeleton here has a specific weapon requirement or item requirement. It says that I need 1 sword and 2 shields, but none of the cards that you're using can be green cards. So it does give you an additional point for going that extra mile, but you cannot use any green cards for this specific card. And the last one here are the boss cards. Now there's nothing indicating that it's a boss card on the front, but again, if you check the back, it does have a dragon here, indicating that this is a boss card, and this will give you a ton of points at the end, 8 to be exact. It will cost you, of course, many more weapons and many more shields, but that is the boss card. Once you have gotten rid of all of these monster cards, everybody will take equal turns buying cards or mining gems or recruiting citizens until all of that is done and every player has had an equal turn, and then end of scoring will commence, and let's talk about that next. Alright, so let's go through endgame scoring. First thing you're going to do is you're going to take a look at the points on your item cards, and you're going to annotate them right here. So add up all of the points on each item card, and that is what your total value will be for that. Then you're going to take a look at the different colored cards you have. We have red, green, and blue. You're going to then count up all of your red cards, and the person with the most red cards will get 20 points. The person with the most green cards will get 15, and then the person with the most blue will then get 10. If there are any ties, you'll split that in half, rounding down. So for the example of this green, you will then get 7 points if there is a tie. The next thing you're going to take a look at are the monster points. You'll total all of your monster points up and then add those values in these areas. Citizen cards, if anything gives you points, you're going to then add up all those. And then lastly, we have the amethysts. Amethysts will then basically go based off this conversion chart. So for every amethyst you have, say I have a total of 3, I will get 8 points at the end of the game. If my partner has then 4, they will get 12 points at the end of the game. Now, a couple of things to take a look at is there's no yellow set, and that's because they're worth a ton of points already. So you do not get the most points for yellow cards. And if you have any cursed cards, you're going to reduce those points here in the item points right here. So if I had a total of 12 points plus that -4 from that curse card, then I'll only have an 8 there for those item points. And that is endgame scoring. I'm going to take a look at the table just one more time, and we're going to look at the rare gem so you guys can get a little bite of the fun points that you can get from that. Alright, the last thing I want to talk about is the rare gem. I waited till the end to talk about this because this is very rare that this happens. The rare gem is this gold one. So if I reach into the bag and I pulled this out, I would take, of course, my red. I would then take, of course, my amethyst. But the rare gem actually indicates one of these rare gem cards. These are 3 cards that will be laid out and will not be refilled. And basically on these cards, you will get a free action that's it could be very powerful, it could be additional actions, it could be additional really anything, but these are really great cards to have. So you want to take a look at what cards are available for you to take when you grab this rare gem, and then look at what action that you might want to actually use, and at any point during the game, you can sit here and play this free action on your turn. Once you've played it, you'll flip it upside down, annotating that you've used it. These do not give you any points at the end of the game, but they will give you a powerful action that hopefully will use to get you more points in the game. And hopefully that makes sense. Once you have then basically thrown this rare gem, gold, diamond, or whatever, you're going to put that back into the bag. Once all the rare gems have been taken, then of course you're not going to put this back into the bag, you'll just remove it from the game. And those are the rare gem cards. Okay, so we've set up to play just for a few rounds here to show you guys how exactly the game goes, and in motion, of course. So we've set up the bank with 1 gem in each color here. We set up all the item cards, the citizen cards, and then of course all the monster cards here. We've also placed our 3 rare stone, rare gem cards right here. Our mining bag is right here with our decks in their appropriate areas. We have our 2 gold in each player mat, as well as our 1 gem for each player, matching the player board, of course. And we're just going to play through a couple rounds so you guys can see. So I'm going to start this off. And the first thing I'm going to do is actually I'm going to spend my 2 gold. And I'm going to buy, I'm sorry, I'm going to spend 1 of those gold. And I'm going to buy this rogue. What this rogue allows me to do is, when recruited, take any 2 gems from the bank and place them in front of me for free. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a blue gem and a green gem. All right, now it's my partner's turn to go.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mine.
All right, and when she mines, she's going to grab 3 gems, and there we go. We've got a diamond, a topaz, and then she had a coal. She put the coal back in the bag, and she's going to place the rest there on her player board, and that's her turn. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to build. I'm going to spend a emerald and a sapphire. I'm going to place the emerald into the bank. I'm going to place the sapphire back into the bag. I'm going to take this leather armor and place it here in front of me. A new card comes out, and that is the Feral Cap. Unfortunately, it does say all of these sapphire go back into the bag, but there are no sapphires, so we're going to ignore that for this turn.
I think I'm going to go ahead and build the Ring of Binks, and I'm going to use that with my sapphire and a diamond. So the sapphire goes into the bank, the diamond goes in the bag, and this is now my card.
The diamonds will always go into the bag, just as a reminder. No matter how many diamonds you use, all of them will go back into the bag. All right, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to trade. And I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to take 3 gold and place those 3 gold here into my player board. That's my partner's turn.
Oh boy, looks like I need to mine.
So again, with mining, she's going to pull 3 gems out of the bag.
And that's just my luck. So 2 coal and 1 topaz. I get 1 gem.
A whole gem. I'm going to spend my 3 to recruit again, and I'm going to recruit this miner. In the explanation, I basically said that this miner is going to allow me to draw 4 when I'm mining instead of 3. Partner's turn again.
Okay, let's see. And I need to, I'm going to mine again.
She's going to mine.
Well, this is a little better. I have 2 amethyst and 1 coal, so the coal goes back into the bag. I just keep the amethyst for endgame points, and that's the end of my turn.
And again, the amethyst will go in the top right corner of the player board itself. It does not clog the inventory. I should also state that if she wanted to trade, she can only trade the things that are in the inventory and not the amethyst themselves. They are locked into that spot. These do not go away. They cannot be traded, and they just stay there for endgame points. All right. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm also going to mine. So I'm going to reach into the bag, and instead of 3, I'm going to grab 4 gems. And that is my selection here. I'm going to place the coal back into the bag, and I'm going to keep these gems right here into my beautiful player mat. Alrighty.
And I'm going to be boring. I'm going to go ahead and mine one more time.
She just likes mining. She likes all the coal, she said.
Okay.
All right. Perfect. I will now mine. So I'm going to grab again 4. Oh, look at that. I've got now the rare gem. So I'm going to take these 3 gems here. Again, I'll place them in my inventory.
Must be nice.
It is nice. And now, because there's still 3 available, I'm going to take the gold gem here. I'll put that back in the bag, and I'm going to select any one of these 3, and I think I'm going to do this cube of Etheria. Again, I'm going to place this right in front of me, and I can play this at any time during my turn. It is a free action, so I can take an action and play my my rare gem card, or I can play my rare gem and take an action in any order I'd like. So this specific card says, as a free action, recruit any 1 citizen for free. That's pretty good. I don't have to spend any of my gold.
I'm going to go ahead and build the silencer hood. So I'm going to just put the ruby in the inventory, or the bank, and then toss that in the bag.
New card comes out. This one here has the monster attack symbol, so all of the green from the bank goes back into the mining bag. The reason why this happens is it refills the mining bag, making mining still a viable option and action for you to take, and it keeps that bag pretty full still. All right. I am going to sell one of my my diamonds here, or trade it in. And basically, again, that is removed from the game, but I will get 5 gold for doing so. So I'll take my 5 gold, and it is now my partner's turn.
Right. Just because I like to have those victory points, I'm going to recruit the adventurer. So I'm just going to pay my 2 gold. And I'm going to take this, which is going to give me 2 victory points at the end of the game.
All right, a new citizen comes out. This is the treasurer. This one right here, and I'm not going to go through all of these, but this one right here, at the end of the game, gain 1 victory point for every 2 gold you have for a max of 8 victory points. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually buy, or recruit rather. Yeah, we'll recruit the artificer. It does cost 3 to do so, but I'm going to place that here in front of me, and I'm going to use my cube of Etheria to recruit another one, the engineer herself. And again, I'll place that in front of me face up. It is now my partner's turn.
Okay, I need some things here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to build the feral cap. So I have a ruby and a diamond. So again, I'm going to put the ruby into the bank. Diamond goes into the bag, and there's my card.
All right, a new card comes out. Oh, here we go. We got a cursed item. Again, at any point, somebody can pay the diamond, build the card, and then if I was the one to build this card, I would then give it to my partner, in which she would get -4 points at the end, but she will have the option of using it as either shields or swords. But first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to mine. Now I get to mine 4 gems, in which I got this lovely selection here.
Look at all them diamonds you could buy that cursed card with.
I could do that cursed card if I'd like, and I think I will.
Fantastic.
And the reason why I am able to do that is I'm going to use my artificer. It says, when I mine, I may choose to build this turn. Well, I think I will. So I'm going to build. When I build with a diamond, the diamond always goes back into the bag, and I give my partner the cursed sword. Well, now I've just built a combo, because now I'm going to use my engineer. When I build this turn, which is what my engineer says, I may also trade. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to trade in a sapphire for a topaz and a ruby. And now that will end my turn. And now you can see the engine slowly build up with these citizen cards.
Okay, I think I'm going to mine. Coal goes back in the bag. I've got a diamond and an amethyst, and that's it.
Alrighty. I am going to... Well, I'm going to build. I'm going to build... We'll go with the assassin's grip here. I'm going to spend 1 of my sapphire, place the diamond back into the bag, and I will take this card here.
I'm going to go ahead and build the shadow wand. So topaz is going to go into the bank. Diamond goes into the bag. I'm going to go ahead and take that.
Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to build... I need some weapons in my life, so I'm going to build this Avenger. So I'm going to place 1 topaz here, place my ruby into the bag. I'm going to place this in front of me. New card comes out. All the topaz, because the monsters attack, will go back into the bag.
Okay, so I think it's time for me to slay. So let's see what I have here. I'm going to slay the slime, which is 2 swords. Actually, no, I'm going to do the vampire. So 2 swords and 2 shields. And I do have that, so I've got my 2 shields. I don't know if you can see that very well. And since I can make this one either a shield or a sword, I'm going to go ahead and make that a sword. So I have 2. I am using 4 cards to slay this monster, so I will get 4 gold. And this is now my monster. This is all going to go face down on my side of the table.
Now I'm not going to, after a few more turns, I'm not going to remember which colors she used. So I'm hoping that I was paying attention enough so I know maybe if I'm going to go for more green cards or more red cards. If I just saw her use a ton of red cards, maybe it wouldn't be good to go for more of these red cards. I might focus more on the blue or the green so I can try to get those endgame set bonuses. And for the most part, that's how the game's going to play. It's going to be a lot of mining, trading, again, building, recruiting, and slaying. And once all of the monsters are then completely gone, then we'll each basically take equal turns. So I started the game, so my partner would have one more turn left just to see if she can try to get any more points for the citizens or any more points through these items that she can build. And then we would go through endgame scoring. And that's basically the game. I don't think there's anything else. Am I forgetting anything?
Let's see. Not that I can think of.
Okay, perfect.
That's it.
Well, that's the game in a nutshell. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this little walkthrough and how to play Amethyst. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Oh, and if you have any questions, feel free to bug him relentlessly on email.
That's great. Thank you.